Okay, so in this lesson, we are going to look at the project lifecycle and the delivery modules. So for this, as the project engineer, you need to have understanding of the project lifecycle. So a simple lifecycle that we have here is the first thing. You have your concept or feasibility. So that will be the first stage where there is just a concept or there is a feasibility study being done to determine whether a design or whether it is possible to be executed. Then the next step there is so from concept or from feasibility, the next step is can be a feed or front end design. So front end design, this is just a preliminary design. So usually this is done in order to have a rough estimate of the budget and also maybe time schedule. So this feed is just a preliminary design, which is not too much detailed, but it just gives an understanding of how the design will look like. Then the next stage is the detailed design. So that feed just to provide maybe the skeleton in which an actual design can then be generated from. But now in the detailed design now, there will be more calculations. Everything has to be calculated, and then a detailed design is then produced and submitted to the client. Then the next stage in the life cycle is the procurement. Once the detailed design is done, obviously we are proposing either to build, maybe it's a new plant, or we are doing upgrade works with a design. Then so for the procurement now, we're now procuring that equipment that we are proposing to put. This can be your filters, whether it's the clarifiers, or these are reservoirs or intake chambers, or these are pumps and so forth. So whatever we've proposed in the detailed design, we then need to procure that. So with the procurement stage, then after procurement stage, we then go to site construction. So once we've procured the things, the equipment, we then go to site, we start our construction work. Then we have the commissioning and handover. So by commissioning, we are simply just testing equipment that we have installed to make sure that it is functioning according to what the design says. And then after that, there is the plant handover, where we hand over the project to the client. This is the project life cycle that is common in the water and wastewater projects. Okay, then for the delivery modules, so there are a number of modules that are currently available in the water, wastewater, and oil and gas. So the first one that we're going to look at is the traditional one. So the traditional one, this is where, let's say it's a local council. They have got a water treatment plant that either they want to be constructed or upgrade works. So what they do is that they will get a consultant who will then look at the scope of work, and they can come up with a design. Then once that is done, then the client will then do a tendering process where they invite bidders, contractors to say, okay, fine, we have the scope of work here. Either we want you to construct a treatment plant or to do upgrade works, and here is the scope of work. So this scope of work is generated by the consultant, and then the contractors, they bid to do the procurement and the construction of that work. So this is the common and it's the traditional way where contractors, they bid to get the job. After getting the job, they do procurement, and then they do construction. Then another delivery model is the design and build / design, build, and operate. So this is where a contractor can get a contract to design, the treatment plant or the upgrade works, and then submit the design for approval. Once the design is approved, they then do the construction. So this design and build, it's very common, especially in Europe. It's probably the predominant delivery model. Then we have got the EPC, engineering, procurement, and construction. This one is very common for the oil and gas industry, where the contractor, you do the detailed design, then you do the procurement, and you do the construction. So this one is very strict in the sense that in the EPC, the specifications, they want the project to be delivered to the according to the specifications to the last dot. So if you're a project engineer there, you need to know the specifications like the back of your hand. Every equipment, everything, it has to meet and match the specifications. Then there is the engineering, procurement, then construction management. So in this is probably a slight variation of the EPC. So in this, you can do your detailed design, you can do your procurement, but then you don't do the construction. There will be subcontractors doing the construction. So you will be doing management of the construction, hence construction management.